Hello. Bear with me. Happy Friday, the 15th of March, 2019, year of our Lord. Let me share this. Altelda.com, we are having a chat. A bad posture. Oh, what's on the table? Spot the items. Can you spot them? Mute that. That's good. Two. Who do we have? Andy. He's your brother. Salutations. Too many clicks. There we go. One. Nearly done. And then we will get straight into it. I'm going to give you an update, some documents. We'll have a chat. I'm just in the office uploading files, much needed PDFs. Nearly done. Got lost. There we go. I need an office chair. You can't sit in the red chair. Gives you such bad posture. Right, we've posted. Job's done. Who we got? Andy. Everybody's at servitude. You get it on the replay. 3. What? So, what do I have in this folder here? Been up all night, sorting out essential key competence in the forms of refining PDFs to upload to the .com. I'm going to go through a few topics, maybe of interest, maybe of not. Just because I have these documents does not mean that I endorse them, that I recommend them, that I use and follow them. It is part of the resource library. So what we are doing is uploading a lot of rare historical, lawful, legal publications, church law, Catholic law, Masonic papers, Revelations of a Square, Zodiac stories, one that Santos Bonacci recommended a while ago, Zodiac and the Salts of Salvation, the Dead Sea Scrolls, Secret Society Systems, a document about Eucadia, Pactum de Singularis Celium, the Bolum test, a document from Brother Josh X that he requested, the Language Crystal, Natural History of Etymology, Ancient Law. We've got 2 different books there on ancient law, notes of cases on negotiable paper, cases in Chancery, Chancery references and chambers, administrative equity, equity latches, philo, Egyptian language, Egyptian mythology and Christianity, principles of English etymology, etymology and slang, the Cambro-Britain etymology, natural history etymology, what else have we got? Ancient cities and temples of Babylon, Babylon throughout history, Sumerian morphology, the Sumerian kings list, Sumerian and Babylonian psalms, Roman legal tradition, Roman civilis, Roman education, history and rudiments, the Roman civil law, Roman private law, Roman law in medieval Europe, Syrian and Hammurabi and Syrian Roman law, history of Roman law, just so much, Catholic soldiers, Catholic antidotes, the manual of the Holy Catholic Church, the Eucharistic sacrifice, Catholic directory, almanac and clergy, the Holy Will of God, zodiac stories, the revelations of a square, the square and the circle, square, circle and triangles, things like that, come from Jordan Maxwell and Santos and others that I've seen around the realm that have used publications, open source publications, and these are getting uploaded today to the resource library. Hello to the 11, Kay, Millie, Chillstar. So yeah, I've got tired eyes reading through thousands of pages of PDF, scanning and cataloguing. So at present we have, he says famously, a total of about 130 documents, maybe 137 for you to look at. These are all key competence, but there is something for everybody. So these are all research documents. So just because they are housed and they are promoted with SPLs, doesn't mean that we promote the history of a Christian doctrine, you know, anything to do with church law or, you know, the laws of. These are just references, articles, even the Vedas, the Rig Vedas, hymns of the, what was that one called now? Arthur Veda. So we've got a lot to look at. Hermes, Trismes, Hermegestus, translations, doctrines, instruments, source books, jurisprudence, treaties, contracts. It's very interesting. So yeah, it's too much for me. We've got the areas, specialised areas set out now. Kings, monarchy, banks, principles of civil actions, the equity and trusts, evolution and the common law, the historical concepts, and then we've got the etymological references, the dictionaries, to go inside and strengthen your unalienable rights. Many a dictionary, too many dictionaries really. Then we have like notices and templates to look at for your informative perusal. We've got the key competence documents on there now, so references to Acts, CQV 1666, proclamations, removal or notice of removal of implied rights of access, and yeah, it goes on, the list goes on. So it's continuously improving. Thank you to one and all for your support. I am looking at emails, notifications, messages today. Maybe I'll link up with Smithy. We might do an update. I'll see if he's free. Forgot to ask him earlier. So I'm literally having a day in the office. We have good news. The good news is the tenancy situation, the assured short hold tenancy with the 21 days notice has been remedied. A property has been, we'll sit that nicely. How do we do this? A property has been secured, and we are happy to say that on about the 26th of March, all should be transferred over to a new tenancy. So it wasn't so straightforward. There was some correction of the notice that was tried to be given, that was attempted notice to be effected, notice to quit via text and email. That was corrected. A solicitor has got involved. No direct communication with the landlord has happened. It's all been through email, and we've looked at a prospective property. I went down with Anne-Marie somewhere near the local area. We've had a look at that, met the agent viewed the property, made applications, renting amounts for residential, social, you know, properties, terraced and so forth. They are astronomically high, £600 a month, 600 plus in the Midlands area. London, I know, is in excess of thousands. So there is a market here, and it's controlled and contrived. I'm not happy about it. I don't think any of us are. Interest rates, debt, deeds, how it all works, land rent, ground rent, leases, freehold, common hold, stamp duty. All of this is very confusing. So we'll address this later on, where we're going with Josh, Andy, and after we've got next week out the way. So viewing the property and then meeting the landlord tomorrow. So Anne-Marie's very happy, managed to turn it around. Upon the application, the letting agents, they have criteria to fill, and you know, there may be situations in life where you want to get something on your own and you can't, then you need to team up. The option of a guarantor is sometimes available for those that are struggling. So you know, I'm not going to reveal too much, but sometimes when applications are rejected due to insufficient criteria fulfilment, you can't maybe get council and social housing. You may be not eligible, taken off the list, have arrears, and so the duty, oh well, touchy point now leading into, if you go to the homepage of SPL's Pro, you will see the story. Don't worry, I am linking it in. The story of homeless in the news at the minute. There's a lot of stories going around regarding homelessness. This title here, young woman with mental problems is told by council she wow, I can't even say it, she could cope with sleeping rough, and then I've added duty of care disclaimed. So as I was updating G-Star yesterday about the news and the procedures and the policy and the qualification for the new applications and what's happening, he happened to mention that there is a council that's come under fire for telling a young woman with mental health problems she would be able to cope with sleeping on the streets. Humanity Torbay, a charity that supports vulnerable people in Torbay, a borough in Devon, shared images of a letter sent to the woman, calling it appalling. The letter, which was written to explain the decision to not make the young person a priority for housing, meaning she would become homeless, acknowledges she has depression and personality disorders, but said she would be able to cope with homelessness as well as an ordinary person. In explaining the decision, which followed an assessment, the author of the letter wrote, notice that, the author of the letter wrote, I accept that the difficulties you experience would now be likely to get worse if you were to remain in the medium or longer term without accommodation. However, looking at all the facts, I believe you are resilient enough to manage with a reasonable level of functionality, and I am not satisfied that your ability to manage being homeless, even if that homelessness were to result in you having to sleep rough occasionally, or in the longer term would deteriorate to a level where the harm you are likely to experience would be outside of the range of vulnerability that an ordinary person would experience if they were to be in the same situation as you. Tory run Torbay Council has told a young person with a personality disorder and other, allegedly, so according to this story, and other mental health issues that they should be able to cope living homeless on the streets. This has come from charity Humanity Torbay. There's a link to pick Twitter here from somebody called Nicola and her @name on Twitter and the date of the posting. Furthermore, in a Facebook post which shared further parts of the letter, the charity described the incident as so appalling and so terrible. The charity described the incident. I'm tired. We are horrified and shocked that somebody with severe depression and other medical facts is deemed fit to be able to sleep on the streets, a spokesperson said. You are deemed fit to be able to sleep on the streets, all right? So whoever's saying that is obviously in quite an all right position there, aren't he? A position of judgment, a position. So whom thinks that's acceptable? So going back, if you have problems with tenancies and landlords, and you have no way to get onto the social structure of housing, and you are not from this landmass, you don't understand the law, the principles, the notices, the obligations, and the duties, and you are not Anglo English from here, the England and Wales, then you are susceptible to rogue agents and rogue landlords playing games, moving barriers. It's not funny, and we've brought it to you as concisely and as overall as we can. These games are rife, and if you don't catch them in the act and hold them to account, you will then be maybe deemed to be homeless. It's all right, Anne-Marie, it doesn't matter. Homelessness is nothing but a blip in the... No, it isn't. There is social housing. There is a structure there where our rights are recognised and noticed and enforced, and we would be, asking and saying about the enforcement of the rights and the duties. Yeah, so we go further on. If you don't know you have rights, then you have no rights. Let he who will be deceived is one of the maxims of this establishment, as we've said. So this is not so much about deception. They've asked and they've been denied. So denial of services. Yes. Someone from the charity told HuffPost UK that the recipient was a young woman who shared the letter in the hope of raising awareness about how those at risk of being street homeless are treated. She said she was in a terrible state when she came to the charity for help, and that they had been able to secure her temporary accommodation and make sure she is safe. Asked if the young woman has appealed the decision, she said no, nobody does, because you don't win against Torbay Council. They are just awful. Not my words. Sorry, Torbay Council. The letter has been shared thousands of times on Facebook and Twitter. Some people tagged Kevin Foster, member of Parliament, MP, not military police, it's MP, for Torquay and Paignton in the post. He responded with a tweet that said, if true, not acceptable at all. He suggested the young woman contact his office so he could challenge it on her behalf. So again, rules have been outlaid. A decision has been made, and if this lady hadn't have made all this noise and made a fuss and got someone's attention, she would have just been put to the wayside, maybe committed suicide, given up hope, and maybe she's got children, dependents. Wow, just I'll put the source there, and then there is furthermore to this. More information, 441 people found guilty of rough sleeping across Greater Manchester. 6,518 people were found guilty of rough sleeping under the Vagrancy Act of 1824, would you know, across England and Wales. Not the United Kingdom, England and Wales, point of note. Between 2014 and 2017, the Liberal Democrats have revealed. Look at this, political fighting about homelessness. Lest we not forget, there was a homeless man, died outside the Houses of Parliament. No one gave a rat's ass, It happens every day. They pretend they care, but yet they go to work and walk past them and do nothing. So the figures from the Ministry of Justice uncovered by a Liberal Democrat Freedom of Information request show a total of 6,518 offenders were found guilty under the Vagrancy Act in 1824 in what the Lib Dems have described as chilling and archaic. In the last 4 years, 1,836 rough sleepers were convicted in the London metropolitan area, with 646 646 in the West Midlands, 592 in Merseyside, and 441 Greater Manchester. 600 homeless people died on Britain Street in 2017. The highest number was in Manchester, where 21 died. That's what's recorded and on the book. So there's interesting points of note there for you to reference, all right? One of them sources was from MSN News, HuffPost, United Kingdom, written by Nicola Slawson 1 day ago. Thank you for that, sister. We are not claiming that. We are simply letting others know. The second story was brought by mcrlibdems.org.uk. John Leach's Manchester Liberal Democrats 441 people found guilty of rough sleeping across Greater Manchester. Very, very interesting. So yeah, I don't mind putting these into the feed here for you to source and reference. Thank you to those roving reporters. I'll look at your comments in a minute. This is just simply disgusting in light of everything else. As if your things weren't so bad. So if you get denied, oh, that's too big a link to put in. That's too on the homepage of the .com. You'll get them from there. We've sourced and referenced them enough. Sorry, that link's far too big from MSN. You just search for it, you'll find it on any generic search engine. So if you have problems and you get denied, then it shows you how rough and nasty and hardcore this establishment is. Nobody has an ultimate answer, but we are very close. Requiring, wishing, requiring, what do you want, submitting, submission and non-recognition of rights. He who has no rights, has no power. These aren't our rules, these are the establishment's rules. So let me get to the chat, see your comments. Chillstar, One Love, KB, Millie, GoPro Flat, we need to catch up. I'm on holiday next week as well now. Blessings, Andy, P9. Right, the t-shirt, it was, yes, it's from an old clothing company that we use. That's my message to the executives that are running rogue at the minute. It's not a time to, lest we think, let me think of when I was a wee boy. Aha. And we had Arthur Scargill, Neil Kinnock, Gorbachev, the hammer and the anvil. A new dawn was happening. Suns, crowns, mountains, eras, ages, orders, coal mines, Sinn Féin, Ulster, IRA, bombings, Gulf War, Birmingham 6, Lockerbie bombing. That's just from randomly now off what I can remember. So all that was going off. We had a lot of upheaval within the sectors. Margaret Thatcher, subsequent decisions, trade, TUC, the trade union, the fallout from that, the introduction of the poll tax. My goodness, yeah, talk about distraction. And she had a lot on her hands, the Iron Lady. You know, I don't believe that she decided to do all of that. As we've said, there is a sun and two wings, and there is a two-party, a duality. Those two wings, red and blue, green, yellow, black, purple, are controlled by that overall one brain. So she did what she did, and now Theresa Dismay, as she's got the name, and you know, all these years, all this planning, if she gets this wrong, then what may fall out, I'm aware, may be quite a lot worse than what happened in the late 80s and subsequent early 90s. We would argue that mass outrage would not be the key, as has been in the past, and going out, strikes and showing man's discontent, dismay, objections to it would be put best now in a unilateral form of one voice to the state, the empire state, the controlling state, and we would manage it a different way now. No violence, no anger, malice, fire, bombing, everything that you've seen as an example of a way to go forward. And we would simply tell them that they haven't done the job right, they are relieved of the position, and the inherent power that they have is now been removed. This takes a bit of dexterity. It wouldn't happen overnight. We would have emergency measures put in. There is quite a lot of hoo-ha about what may be happening here with regards to policy of rehousing, social requirements, duty of care, negligence, suicide, death, drug abuse in Glasgow, Edinburgh, and where else did I say now? Highest in Europe. We have nothing to be proud of. We have everything to be worried of. And yeah, these documents that I'm uploading and the way that things happen and how you must argue now and fight. Another example would be you are under the impression that you may be innocent until proven guilty. Well, we are finding out that of late things seems to have changed. Now, the documents that I've mentioned and the ones that we're looking at and how we are one thing. Your mindset and your ability to decipher and see and know and challenge is where it all hinges on, and that's what the system looks for these days. So it's disgusting, homelessness in itself. You can't make excuses like they do for murder, and they call it manslaughter. It's not so much manslaughter, it's more so it's murder, but now it's legal murder. So you can't have a legal system of slaughter, I'm afraid. Doesn't matter how pretty you paint it, how much you gloss it up. Homelessness, bursting schools, lacking budgets, greedy central bankers, perpetual fractionalised reserve banking and debt, and asset management, to say the least, amongst the culpable liability for this rests on the ones in office at present. So that's standard. There are ways to bring those accountable to action and for their subsequent actions and liabilities. So I'm sure that that story there, with all that hype and everything, will be, yeah, an example. But unless you make a noise of it and you get that promotion, you fight it and you enforce your rights, is basically what they're doing there, is enforcing rights. As I said in the video with the prudent patient and the Bolam test, if you have the wrong testicle or ovary removed and you've got one good one and one bad one, then you're looking at legal resolution for that. But when it comes to the actual physical man or woman, I didn't add lady example on to the end of that video in my passion for an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, or an eye for an eye and a testicle ovary for a testicle ovary is my example there to bring down the gravitas of the two comparable jurisdictions at hand, and the way that legal manages it that way and your equitable personal private remedy handles it a different way. There was two different channels of remedy for you to seek, and when it comes to housing and begging and submitting, then that's the crux of it there. The art of the game would be to not beg and submit and to enforce and play the game a different way. It is a game, it's a game of life. It is a monopoly on all of your everyday events, encounters, transactions, future transactions, prospects, entitlements, interest, health, wealth, all of it. So we have a system out there and it appears to want to help us, but when we deal with it, it does nothing but burn us. So we are simply now at a stage where next week we have a lot to consider. We're networking, we're expanding. The actual movement itself, YouTube, interesting video of recent, and some comments from a recent court case, what's going on. I'm clever enough not to get my hands dirty in that, but I have seen the recent video, accusations, got my ear to the ground. Thank you all for feeding back what you're feeding back, and your thoughts, your response, coming on the hangouts and supporting, putting your 10 pence in, because it's your testamentary input that matters ultimately. It's a family deal, as I said, by bringing my mum's publication, dissertation into it, certain quick ways of getting to where you want to get to. Doesn't always need you to go into equity and private. There are various ways of doing it. So we're at a important crossroads. We're very grateful. The videos that I've uploaded of late are of massive, massive significance and importance. I haven't directly spoken to Jordan Maxwell, but I did download a lot of his archive when I first found him, possibly 10 years ago. And I continue to work with this great mind through YouTube and making notes and going off and referencing and some of these publications and these PDFs, the history of heresies and their refutation, Catholic Directory, Almanac and Clergy, Roman, Egyptians, There's a lot to thank that man for. I'm not saying everything he says is right. I don't have a direct link with him. I've never spoken to him. But if anybody has a link for Jordan, I would very much like to have a hangout with that man. It's like a pipe dream after, you know, the Santos one, but the Genesis translation and you know, the Messiah Jesuits, the Chief Cornerstone. I was watching one of last night, 3 hours and something, archived rare video. What's done in darkness will come to light, must see. Again, truly incredible mind, and a lot of key information in that. I've got to go and check on the silver. That's finished. Have a look at this, the next batch. Let's see what you think to this. Here we go. I'll go to your comments and then we'll wrap it up. The things I do in the Queen's kitchen when she's not here. Right, so if you haven't seen, let me get this out of the way. If you haven't seen how you don't have to get it from another source, your silver water, you can make a kit yourself. It's kept in dark light because it's UV ray sensitive, as most of you will know. So before we do anything, let's isolate the power as such. Safety first. It's a standard old phone charger. There's many hundreds of thousands lying around, many drawers, the United Kingdom. Now, I've covered up the branding because it was a picture from a watering hole, yeah. Those of you in the summertime that like your alcohol, I used to drink, I've drank many of these, I've carried many of these. Funny thing is though now, is that it is a jug for alcoholic content. Look at the colour, just same almost colour as the beer colour. Let's get you a bit closer. You see that? Orange nectar, amber nectar. Literally, it's the amber nectar, but not as you know it, David, yeah? Look at that lovely orange colour. Now, what we'll do is show you the other end, how we've manufactured this. It is very rudimentary, I don't mind telling you. We've got 3D printers to get and to print all this stuff out. Block connector. You've got your two wires going in. Where are we? Black. Simple as that. Connect them two wires into the top end of that block connector. Other end, put the silver in. Doesn't matter which way. Rods, 99.9% pure. So you have the power in, live neutral, and you have the electrodes, which is two silvers, which then, if we're through via electrolysis in the water, deposit. That's why it's orange. I know silver is silver, yes, and the water is amber. I need more scientific breakdown on why it is such. If I get the laser will show you. A little bit better. This will pick up on the particulates. The laser won't show you, the battery's gone. We've got no power. You might be able to see a little bit. Too much glare. Too shiny everywhere. There we go. It's just come to life. There's all that. That's the laser lights reflecting off all the particulates within the water. You get distilled pure water. You won't see that. You'll see that a lot in your tap water when you do it. Yeah, it's a bad example. We do it at night. Now we test 4 parts per million. Comes on 0. Oh, it's not very good at picking this one up. There you go. Stick it until it flashes. Come on, decided. There we go. It went to 16 and to 15. And then it reads, bosh, 15. I'll have a few more hours. The colour is good. That's as simply as how you make it. Distilled water from your distiller. Not tap water, not mineral water. When you've distilled your water, what I do is what happened from a chat on YouTube just like this. One of the scribes said, once you've got your distilled water in there, what you can do is use some previously made silver water and tip about 100 ml silver water into your fresh distilled water. That will introduce small silver particulates to the water to allow the electrolysis to happen faster. Others out there have their own techniques and ways. My psoriasis is on its way out. You see in the middle it's got a recession. That will be another few months. I know it's not too pretty, sorry. It's ongoing testamentary evidence of it was there. There's a white bit of skin where it used to be on this side. It's retracted down. That is my claim before you today, and you can check the videos. It's eating it away. It is still dry and not very pleasant. But if you've got this and you've got it all on your shins, and I've gone on holiday before and seen mans with it on the sides there, all flaky and itchy. I'm not making any claims other than what I'm telling you is happening to me. It's now going on my feet for my athlete's foot. So day in the office with Indy, yes, this is happening on the side, literally on the side of the kitchen in Anne-Marie's crib. It's what we do simultaneously, being productive. So that kills 650,000 known pathogens. So I've got, right, as it was in, I was thinking the other day, this is a particular brand of beverage to England, all right? Now, I won't say the name, but I will help promote it in a clever way, because packets and tins and pre-packed beverages come with what in them, fam? They come with preservatives, do they? Like the pharmaceutical inoculations, they come with, allegedly, I haven't done the testing myself, but due to independent reports, the injections that come from the NHS and subsequent health trusts contain mercury as a preservative. Mercury is liquid quicksilver metal. It's poisonous to man, and it's not good. It's a heavy, toxic, poisonous metal, as you know. Now, putting that into a jar receptacle, medicine for a little baby that's just been born, having their inoculations, and introducing a toxic heavy metal such as mercury, if indeed this is the case, for a preservative in that important medicine, doesn't make sense. Here, take something that you need, but in there is something that will kill you. Yes, it worked that out. So there you go. Preservatives, dodgy, nasty, not good for you. Put in products to keep them on the shelf longer, not because they're good for us to eat. It's all about the monies. So if this kills 650,000 pathogens known to man, and including allegedly common colds, those of you that will remember old wives' tales, silver sixpence put in dairy products prolonged the life of the milk and the dairy products. Some out there might want to get some milk and put some of the liquid silver into the milk, just a couple of drops, mix it round and see how long the milk lasts. Maybe leave it out the fridge, see how long it lasts and takes how long it takes to go off. These are the claims being made. So if you put that same non-toxic, very healthy, non-invasive to the human body in a small amount into your product, say like it might make your beer into probably the best beer in the world. You know, some might say, you know, into food products for expanding life. It's got benefits there. There are other ways that they can do things without poisoning us. But much like aspartame, you know, E. coli, they molecularly, genetically modify the bug, the bacteria, the pathogen by one DNA strand, and then they can collect all the toxic waste from other industries, and instead of paying to dispose it, they feed the toxic waste to the E. coli, which is modified, and then craps out aspartame, which they use to put into diet drinks, making more money at our expense. Disgusting, very, very scary. So yes, we will do things ourselves in kitchens when we find out what is being alleged and put into our food. Chemicals, deposits, minerals, plastic in the fish. It's just, you know, like that homeless lady's plight there, and the suicide and the misery and the debt and the uncertainty and the impending recession. What? Impending recession? No, I didn't say that, did I? No, I didn't. No, it wasn't me. I didn't say impending recession. That's what everyone's thinking, Dave. Shh. You know, wow, we should have security, we should have stability, we should have forward motion, we should have principles, we should have plans, we should have everything, solidarity, information, broadcasts, perhaps an app on your phone. Right, we've got these options, everybody. Now, in the next week, we'd like you all to try and get this app and press 1 to 5. What do you think? I mean, we could even implement that. We could take these out the equation and put in a central management system. AI, you say? Yes, AI. Much like Jack Fresco, the Venus Project, and the cryptocurrency digital management. We could wipe the slates clean for everybody. We could wipe all the accounts. We could start again. We could go forward with a new conceptualization, removing the central bankers, removing the Lord Mayor, removing all of the archons. Why? What's wrong with that? It's just a thought. Or removing ourselves, exporting out of the danger zone, which we call the battlefield of the current military that you are in under occupational assumptions, you know, legal occupations, who's occupying what land mass at the minute. We're not at war, we're not violent, we're not in any way vexatious. We want no harm to the ones that are strangling us and getting us now and giving us this false information, rewriting history. The pharmaceutical industry is just a sham. The cure for cancers and the treatments and ailments, the management of finance, social housing, and ultimately there is no accountability for any of this. No one's being held to account. They are slippery little eels and they are laughing. So that's it. That's the rant. That is the rant. How are you doing? Going back to the office. That's a check on that. All right. Just a little testamentary evidence so you know. If you don't see, you don't believe, do you? Go back to the chat and then I'm going to carry on with the uploads. I'll try and get hold of Andy. We will go live soon. Mark, hello. Houses for sale in Stoke-on-Trent going for a pound with a grant of 30 quid. What? That looks something that would interest me. Yeah, anybody? What's up with them? How come? Love your photos. I'm in the northwest. Stop looking at the photos. What photos? Oh, to P9. That got you. There we go. Psychopathic. Yes, they are, Millie. It seems that way. There is no humanity. We've said that before. There is no soul, no conscience. It is... self-evident. You make your own mind up. We don't tell you anything. No. When homeless, you cannot have a driving license, insurance, bank account, job. Yep, this is the way they're doing it. It's social death. Blessed be. Yeah, catch up later. Thank you very much, Millie. Michael, easy now. Treason, dismay. There we go. Nice nickname, we like it. Yes, Jerry, agreed. What gauge is the silver rods? Oh, I can't remember now what they said. They were 20 quid. 8-inch. 4 mil? I don't know. 3-4 mil. They've shrunk now, so I couldn't even look at them to see, but yeah. 99.9, 8-inch, 4 mil gauge. Gobsmacked seeing some. Oh, it's all right. I'll take a bit down. I'm making some up and bottling them now, so I'll give him some. I'm gonna give him a hoodie and some silver water. We'll look after him. MG. 30k grand. Ah, not 30 pound. I got you. Easy, Matthew. Yeah, Matthew, ring me. I'm in the office today if you want to catch up. Remember, you did say, and life's been a bit crazy up until now. So, yes, Wales next week. I'm uploading documents, reading emails, catching on with everything. Sorry, I'm a bit behind here. There is just the famous 5, the physical 5. Myself, Greg, Josh, Kevin, Andy. So yeah, we've got a lot of research for you about to be uploaded. There's a lot of documents on there. We are looking at further work going forward for this year. I've been speaking to Josh about a landmass down in a secret location. We're going to have a looking at a seminar, annual conference, private again. So you will be notified of that. I will find out if Smith is free over the next few days, weekend, and we'll get him on and we'll have a catch up. We'll get the itchy and scratchy on. What else have we got to update you on? Revelations on the Bible. Sorry about this. Sorry that, you know, it's been a long time coming for me. I've always thought there's stories don't make sense, and there's a bit of things here and there that that make me ask questions. I'm in a position now with all this documentation and what Jordan has said there, that there was reference into Aztec gods being held upon a cross. You all have your own right to, your own belief, and we won't tell you anything. I won't force you to believe anything, but our discoveries and interpretations alongside with others are all pointing to the same roads here. The Sumerian, Canaan, Phoenician, Babylonian, Assyrian, Akkad, Mesopotamia, all of those areas. Andy's brought out a lot about the Canaan, the Canaanites, Phoenicians, Hebrews. Before the Hebrews, there was texts on certain subjects and topics which were quite, they were thousands of years old, established from previous civilizations. A lot of stuff emerging from archives and famous speakers at the time, bringing out irrefutable evidence. So Dagon, Dogon, it's very interesting. Man, over the ages, has had their own way of interpretation and believing and following. And fish heads, mushroom heads, suns with two wings, rebirth, being born again. The Egyptian, the Hebrew, the Sumerian, has all been separated. We have got a lot to analyse over the next few weeks. Next week, we will be going more deeper into things. I don't know what the live casts and stuff will be. We'll cement that over the next few days with the boys, Gobsmack and Andy. Stand by for action. Anything can be going down. John, hello. Nice one, Matt. I'll speak to you later. What's going on with Gobby? This looks. We'll look into that. We're looking at, GoPro with regards to property, asset management, allowance and that. You've got the National Trust here that hold the land in trust. We've got the ecclesiastical trusts and the other subsequent trusts and trust within trusts and trusts being controlled via the air. We would like to look at the rights, the claim of rights within that, and looking at trusts. The .com is a trust. You trust that we are honourable, clean hands, intent is good, pure, and what we say or promise to do will be delivered and done. The trust in the intellectual property there, we hold information, techniques, instruments, literature, definitions, processes, and so forth in trust. That's the trust. The trust is here on this video that I am speaking, and I'm speaking from the heart, I'm speaking from the mind, and I'm using my gut instinct. So I'm using the connection of three, and I'm giving you honourable, intelligent, first-hand update information with reference to. So that's a trust there. Back in the day, before we wrote everything down, we would just communicate verbally, and before Sumer, allegedly, there was no writing. The reasons and governance for that seem quite solid and sound, but knowledge, wisdom, notes, letters, they was kept by the village elders, the shaman, and it was different then. The stars, the astrotheology is fascinating to me. The zodiac, the star charts, and the dates, the references, the mathematics, Saturn, Satan, Lucifer, light givers, moons, Nibiru, Anunnaki, Nephilim, absolutely banging. Before you even get into the flat earth realm and the cherubims, the Enoch stories, Enki, Thoth, Messiah, Jesus, Cornerstone. It's massive, so thank you. We've got quite a lot to outlay next week. I'm sure it's going to be an exciting time. We will be updating further over the weekend. There will be at least one video. I'll see if Kev and Andy want to chat. Kev's done an update on Remedy Banter, and yeah, we will touch base with the other boys. Hopefully we'll find some gills at some point, get them to balance up. Kay, I'll have a touch base with you over the weekend. Kevin, Barnsley, Smithy. If I forgot anybody, I will get to you. And yeah, I'll be in the .com. Watch out for the resource library about to expand even further. And as I've said, just because there may be Aleister Crowley, there may be Manly P. Hall, there may be Freemasonry information, there may be articles on there which are considered dark, but that doesn't mean to say we endorse them or we in fact use them. It's just I need to house them there, and I need to get them out to you. They need to be looked at, evaluated, then discussed upon. The etymological references are mainly for me and Josh to pick up on and work forward, and for you to see and share with. Kevin, I put some chancery ones into that folder, so I've got some cases, some references, pleadings in chancery, and authors' opinions on proposals for judicial action. So you've got lots and lots that is not related, but it's all related upon the principles of our governance within this realm. So we are a law comparison educational platform portal primarily, but we are also now responsible for the forward motion and the cognizance. Religion getting brought into it is by accident. That's for you to sort out and decide. And how we proceed and go forward. We have a plan, we have a structure, non-violent, universal, sectarian remedy for all. And if that is what the consciousness wants after all these years of oppression, misery, violence, war, pestilence, nuclear, Cold War, financial misery and slaughter that's going to happen now, after all of that, we won't stand by and let it happen. We cannot stand by and let it happen, and there is something there for us to use to stop it from happening that is non-violent. It's universal in this universe, across all of the land masses, in this plane existence reality. So that's all we can say. I have got a lot of responsibility, and I feel the commitment and the outlay from you to us, and we're trying the very best we can. We cannot please everybody. I'm not refusing to get caught up in politics and fighting and name calling and who's better. We've said what we've said. The videos outline everything. There are some mistakes in them. I would ask you to check everything I say, everything I have said. Check for current amendments such as 1998 Data Protection Act and GDPR, such suppositions. And whenever you look at an act or a reference or a statute or a clause or something, get it checked, look at it, read it 3 times, give it others in confidence. Do not rush things, pick your battles, and remember to breathe. It's coming from me. Breathe in. It's often, sometimes take yourself out of it, take a breath. Works for me. The link to £1 houses on YouTube. All right then. That's right, Matt. Yeah, that's indeed. Occult just means secret. So yeah, these documents are a little bit scary. They're a little bit old, and they're not endorsed by us. All right. So don't think, oh, SPO's Pro's got some Masonic documents on it. Must mean the Masons and the standing in the square. And no, it doesn't. It just means that this stuff, the Rig Vaders, it's nice to find somewhere that has all of that, that's from an open source environment, that hasn't been ripped off, stolen or anything, and it's there for everybody. This is the consciousness vibrational beacon homing out to anybody who gives a rat's ass, that's worried, that sees another way, that wants to be educated, and has seen that his story is not quite true. So yeah, thank you. I'm going to go back to the office, get these documents updated, catch up with everybody, find the mystery gang, and then we'll be back. We'll be back. If you see anybody wearing one of these, it means they're our aim. This is the source of my power. 23. Hello. Who else has dropped in? Lux. You need to observe your advisory and educate yourself in what they believe in order to counteract and overcome your adversary, knowing the darkness but not practicing it even unwittingly. That is right, yes. But how do you do all of that? You keep one of them, you follow your moral compass, your ethics, your morality, you use your due diligence, do your research. What is your mission statement, Force Majeure? Well, I would say a universal non-sectarian remedy, for all, where we would declare all of the world's resources common heritage again. Yeah? Is that all right? That's something along them lines. A universal non-sectarian remedy where we declare all the world's resources common heritage again. Reclamation of rights, resources, dominion, stopping the forced law adoption and everything else. No, I'm not starting a new religion. We don't do religion. This is faith, right? So what happens is we have around the house here, and I put in plant pots and stuff, various crystals. They have various colours, various dimensions. They're from the realm of which we are made. Man is from the earth. These, in my opinion, and others, are all from the earth, and they have a particular vibration. They affect water. They are not precious metals, but they are precious to us. You can have chakra points that correspond. It's good to get different coloured assortment of crystals. And so with your heart being here, a crystal there, the mind, the chakra points, when I meditate, I'm sorry I can't really have that image on when I'm talking such a holistic beauty and vibration. Everything is a vibration. Atom, autumn, autonomous, electromagnetic, reality, dielectric, vortex math, Tesla, Michael Tellinger. Just because this stuff is something that is a faith for me. No, don't ever follow, copy anybody. Be your own hero is the moral of the story on the icon. And think about vibration, think about love. Just because you cannot see love, you can't measure love. Is love real? Does love exist? Yeah, well, you see it with your eye. You feel it from the one that claims to love you. You know love because love is a connection. Love isn't a paragraph and a chapter and a verse. Love isn't a signature under a chapel in front of the pontiffs and so forth, the clergymen, and signing, oh yes, I love you, and signing it. Love is a feeling. And so house is a feeling of undescribable, I keep quoting, last time it was 1983 Run DMC, but there's a tune there in that, there's a message in that, there's a tune in that message. House is a feeling of undescribable force, and it goes across the nations, and love is a feeling, anger is a feeling, the principality of anger and love. You are loving somebody and you have a little argument, something crappy, and within a minute you're at the anger. You're both at the opposite end of the scale. Hegelian dialect, yes, and love back that way. When you both really in love, both one's there, and you got a balance in the middle, so the love and the hate. So this is the feeling, this is the consciousness. What I'm trying to do is open your eyes into reality, of which is vibrational. How can they say in the Hermetic principles, the 7 Hermetic principles, that all is vibration? How did they know that matter 3,000 years BC was vibrating? How did they know these rules? Who gave them that encoded message? The seed of life, the flower of life. Aztec depictions showing you there was a man dying on the cross way before Hebrews ever existed, way before Judea, way before Hebrew and Romans, and going back eons before. So this is just simply my diamond, that's all. And I have many of them. My mum gets into them good for balancing, the Reiki, the chakra. You'd argue I'm too charged. Well, there you go. There's a good balanced diet, clean water, a little bit of experimentation with your levels, and then your mind inwardly, outwardly, your due diligence. So I don't feel insulted, but no, never. I don't agree with religion, Angela, at all. But with this information we give out, we give it for you to research and have a look at. Yeah. Pacify, that's a good word. Pacify. We are not pacifists. We are not anger. We are not activists. We are awake, and we are conscious, and we are the trustees of this realm. The children of the Creator and the men of the realm, the womb men, the men of the womb. Anybody, you'll have to go back through the channel looks and see about what we do about religion and indoctrination. You've got nothing to worry about there. That's all right. There you go, Angela. I'm glad we're all set up straight. Eltel, yes, brother. Hello, long time no see. Yes, my eyes have been opened. Yes, I thank you, El. Just a random chat in the office. You'll have to rewind because we're going now. I have a pointed cross set with a central blue crystal, surrounded and protected on all four corners by 5 clear crystals. Nice one. Energy, pyramid energy, energies in itself. Just research energy, magnetism, magneto, electro, and you will find out what we are saying. You place yourself in the central stone, your spiritual self at times of attack. Aha, we do need to protect ourselves. So those of you like Lux that know about energy, remote energy, energy vampires, and those that do out of body remote viewing and stuff to others and how they attack, then it is very, very key and integral for your mindset, for your energy, for your reserves to protect. You may protect by doing an upside down cross upon body. That's not a normal one, is it, that everybody does every day? That's an upside down one. I'm not doing this. This is cancelled out because I've got my fingers crossed. Yeah. Some might kneel down and face a certain way and pray and ask for help. Some might use the universal laws and know that we are created in the image of, and we cannot be considered, incompetent. And we might pray by asking and being strong and powerful and in the force and recognizing and accepting and downloading and connecting with. You cannot be in a weaker, lower vibrationary position and crying and sad and on your knees as the representation of the equal to containing the essence of. So when you get down and you don't recognize your power, your supremacy, your importance, your cognition, the law of attraction and everything else, no God will hear you pray when you're crying on your knees, begging, and you stand tall and you feel proud, you feel connected, you feel and give love, you respect, and you use these realms. It's amazing what can happen. So you have your outlook on it, everybody. I have mine. I'm obliged to tell you and update you. That is all. I'm not here to argue, I'm not here to fight. No man can judge another. We are all created equal in the eyes of, the reflection of, and that's how it is. So I refuse to get drawn into or even, play them games. That's for the rest of them out there. Indeed it does. By the way, yes, Eltel, long time coming. Perfection, continuous improvement, El. Thank you, brother. We do try, and little things, they're so annoying. Thank you very much. Peace and love, one and all. It's been a top chat, a good update. Resource library's about to get a lot fatter. How many emails have we got? About 180. I'm getting through them. Thank you all. And if there are any issues, you can message me in the usual ways. Very, very sorry about that news and what's going off. Council, you can cope with sleeping rough. No, Not at all. Not acceptable. I'm glad you're all on it. Please check out, yeah, the prudent patient versus the Bolam test that I've done a day ago. Interesting and articulate information in there by a dissertation that my mum did in 1995 for Sheffield Hallam Uni. I've uploaded the etymology chat that I had with Josh and Costa. Costa's from Greece. We went into Christos. We went into Kronos, the crown. Excellent mind, really good brother there. Lots of love to both of them. Costa, Josh, Samfu. Then the Jordan Maxwell videos I've uploaded from the archives, including an interview with Zachariah Sitchin's rare must see. That's on 182 views in 3 days, so well done. It's that should be popular. The occult and the inner world, yeah, a lot in line for next week, so we can direct others to videos for next week. There comes an email now. Yeah, we're in. I'm logged in. So yeah, thank you very much, one and all. Much love. Good news for our queen. We've sorted out the landlords. We have got everything in a good place. You're all updated, and much love. One love to us all. Big up everybody. Thanks P9, Jerry, Matthew. It never happened. Faith, force, majeure. We have faith. Keep the faith. Like this one here. Come on. I hope it's here. This is what we have. What? That'll answer your question. We have faith. Disregard the fist. Northern soul. Keep the faith. Vibrations, music. Fill me up, buttercup. Don't break my heart. Take responsibility for your own actions. You know, our rights end where yours begin.